Good morning, it's Dr. Ben here with today's quantum moment. Rochelle and I are enjoying a overnight retreat away in Cincinnati. But today's thought is the contrast between embracing a learning mindset versus a shoulda or a I should have mindset. Okay, and I've been listening to some recordings and catching up on some recordings from Brendon Burchard, and he talked about this using the phrase learning mindset. Some of you might know it as a growth mindset from Carol Dweck. Although I love the phrase this week, learning mindset, because it applies specifically even to yesterday versus today, or the last moment versus now. What do I mean by that? How many of us reflect back, hey, good morning, Donnie, reflect back on something that's already happened and with some regret? Okay, with some sense of, I should have done this, I wished I had done that, or it didn't go the way I want. Okay, and that can be kind of heavy and oppressive, and if we carry it forward, it can affect us now in a negative way. Okay, but what if instead we embrace what I heard Brendon say, a learning mindset of this? Okay, what if I say, what did I learn? Okay, what did I learn, and what can I do differently now? Okay. Now, one of the big places this can apply is in our relationships and conversations, whether it's in business, okay, or with our family and our loved ones. And I remember years ago when we were expanding our business, when I transitioned out of medicine, expanding our business, and we did a lot of cold calling. Any of you ever done that in your past? Okay, it was a totally new thing for me, not something you did as a doctor. Okay, hey Patricia, hey, good morning, Robert, Bob, but I remember cold calling, and I remember there were times, okay, where I would have a conversation that didn't exactly go the way I wanted. Like afterward, I didn't feel so good about it, and I was kind of wishing, I wish that had gone differently. Now, have you ever had that with a conversation with a spouse, with your kids, with a sibling, a coworker, a boss, or a potential business partner or client? Has that ever happened to you? Okay, so I'm thinking I should have done this, or I wish it had gone different. And what I learned to do was what I talked about briefly yesterday, the idea of flipping. Okay, I would flip quickly from that feeling and that thought. You want to know what I learned to do? I learned to ask myself, okay, Ben, what's one thing you could do differently the next time you're in that kind of conversation? Okay, what's one thing you could do? I didn't even try to figure out how I could make the whole thing different. I just asked myself, what's one thing you could do different? Okay, another way of asking, what's one thing that you learned? Okay, but immediately I translated it into something I could do differently. And as soon as I thought of one thing I could do, maybe I would just end the call sooner. End it graciously sooner, okay? End the conversation graciously sooner. Maybe I would have asked a different question. Maybe I would have listened more, okay? But what's one thing I could do differently? And as soon as I got that one thing, and it was focused on what I could do differently next time, so I'm already moving forward rather than stuck in the past. And as soon as I got that, I was ready for my next call. I was no longer in regret, beating myself up, or should have, or wishing the last call had gone differently. Instead, I was ready for the next call, the next encounter. And I got to the point where that only took seconds. Okay, so how about as we go about our day today, Saturday, this weekend, this week, in our encounters again with family, with business associates, with others, or just with our own activities, rather than having regret or getting stuck in shoulda, can we ask ourselves, what's one thing I learned, or what's one thing I could do differently, and then be ready to move forward? Deal? Okay, so that's today's quantum moment. Hey, Iltressa, good morning. Good morning, hey, Peche Lignier. I've heard great things about you from Fred 6 in France. Awesome job that you guys are doing. And Lee Hayden, good to have you. You guys have a great day and a great weekend creating a life you love. Bye for now.